Minister, it's a real pleasure to have you here today. And as you can see, we've sort of got a wide variety of decarbonisation strategies present in the hall today. Tell me, do you think the aviation sector is universal in its adoption, that these necessary measures have to happen?
I do. It's one of the things that struck me very clearly since I became Secretary of State and started chairing the Jet Zero Council. Actually, the whole sector, whether it's aircraft manufacturers, engine manufacturers, those involved in producing fuel, airports, everybody else, they all get that making aviation sustainable at pace is incredibly important. So the conversation we have isn't do we need to make it sustainable? It's a sensible conversation about how do we do that and how quickly, which is very refreshing, and it means a very constructive working relationship between government and industry.
Could you elaborate a little more about the government's policies on how this is going to happen and how the government is helping incentivise these practices?
First of all, there's the regulatory environment and the rules that we put in place. So, for example, last month we set out the response to the consultation we did on the sustainable aviation fuel mandate, and we've made it clear now. We've set out what the rules are going to be. Starting from next year, the law will kick in. We're going to legislate this summer. The law will be enforced from next year, starting to have an increasing percentage of sustainable aviation fuel. We're just consulting, quite a short consultation on a revenue certainty mechanism, which is important for those 5 SAF plants that we want to get under construction in the UK starting from next year. And the other area is recognising that some government investment, some taxpayers' support into new technology is also important, which we're doing in 2 ways, through the Aviation Technology, Aerospace Technology Institute. There's £975 million available between now and 2030, but also the investment in our Advanced Fuels Fund in getting those SAF producers on the table. So it's a mix of the regulation and the investment into the sector.
In terms of the cap on heifer-produced SAF, how significant is it that we're seeing that potential cap coming in place and then moving towards next-generation SAF production pathways?
For the first couple of years, actually, we're not capping heifer produced SAF because we know that would be a limiting factor. It then kicks in at a slightly later date, but we've also got a target for power to liquid produced SAF, which we've actually brought in earlier than in the consultation, so in 2028 rather than 2030, and that's been taken as a real encouragement from those developing that technology. We've got a very clear commitment to decarbonise aviation, but that is going to depend on a range of technologies, and the government is neutral about which of those technologies. We don't know for certain which of those technologies, which mix of those is going to be the right answer. So we're backing all of them. So SAF, yes, that's clearly going to be one that's going to be a big player, but we're very supportive of hydrogen. We also recognise there'll be some flights that are entirely battery electric, some of the smaller, more sub-regional flights. So we're backing all of those.
How important is it that the general public aren't demonised into thinking that flying is a bad thing to do necessarily?
Look, this government's position is very clear. We think giving people the opportunity to be globally mobile and to travel for leisure, for business, for economic growth, but also importantly to do all of the human things that people want to do, to see their friends, to see their family, to see loved ones, is in itself a good thing. And so we want the aviation industry to grow and we want more people to be able to fly. In order to do that in a way that is consistent with protecting the environment, you have to therefore develop this technology. That is the right answer. There are those that want to stop people flying, to price poorer people out of flying. That is the opposite of this government's policy. We will support people flying from all walks of life. And what I'm pleased about is the industry gets that requires that focus on decarbonisation and reducing the impact of aviation on the environment. And as long as everybody focuses on that, we can make sure this industry continues to grow and continues to have a massive impact on growing the economy.
Minister, thank you very much for your time.